Yo, what is up, Karma Nation? We are back at it again for another NFL Prop Party Pod for this beautiful week 9 of NFL football. I'm here always with my boy Ethan. How are you doing today?
I am doing awesome. We had a damn good week last week, Joey.
That
Uh,
we did.
we were nearly perfect on Prize Picks and pretty darn close to perfect on Monkey Knife Fight too. It was a huge money making week for everyone in Discord. If you watched our video last week, you should have made a ton of money too. So, and I know Joey, you killed it last night. I didn't play last night personally because, well, I hate primetime games for props.
They have
But
not been kind to us.
Joey, you cleaned up big time last night.
Yeah, I was due for a big hit for these primetime slates. Hit my 2 for 3, hit my 4 for 4. Kenny hit two for twos, and we hit a prize picks 2 play. So
Yeah.
pretty good night. Made a little over a grand in profits. So pretty good night. Pretty good night.
Welcome to the GPP hitting club. You can join me now.
Yeah, it's been a rough. I haven't played that many. I've been going safe this season, slowly building my bankroll. I haven't played many GPPs, but I believe that's the first hit. We had a shit ton last year, but I don't
I
think
hit
we.
one earlier in the year, and then you just hit one. I think we only hit two of those so far. We've hit a 3 for 3.
We've hit some 3 for 3s. We're just not playing the higher up ones.
Yeah. Well, part of the problem is Monkey Knife Fight has this stupid rule now.
Oh
One,
yeah.
where you have to mix in over and unders in your 5 for 5, four
Well,
for
you
four,
can do all overs, but you just can't do all unders. I
which
think.
is stupid.
Yeah. So in these rain games, you can play the 2 for 2, 3 for 3s, but you can't go all the way to the 4 for 4s, 5 for 5s, which it is a stupid rule because they could just overproject everybody, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
I mean, not everyone correlates in a 5 for 5. Normally, no one correlates for all unders in a 5 for 5.
Yeah.
Because normally there's a running back and a quarterback. So normally, if the quarterback does well, the running back does bad, or vice versa. So
Yeah.
normally it's fine. Maybe those 4 for 4s where it's two quarterbacks, two wide receivers, but maybe they should just fix their system so you can't do that and just have running backs with quarterbacks all the time. But
Yeah.
they don't listen to this. So what was that?
So we have some good games this week, though.
We got some great games.
So, we're going to touch on some stuff today. Obviously, some stuff you can play now. Some you kind of have to wait till Sunday because there is some huge injury news out there that you kind of need before you can play some props. So don't lock in everything today.
Yeah, this is a definitely an injury week. They have Chase Daniel and some props too, so it's like they got some backups in that might not be playing, and you might be able to take advantage of some unders if the backup does get to play a couple snaps.
Yeah.
But the guys do have to play, so make sure to sign up if you haven't for MonkeyKnifeFight.online and PrizePicks.online. I'm sure if you're watching this, you are already signed up, but if you happen to stumble by, use promo code Karma, and you get a free, nice little deposit bonus. And Prize Picks gives you a free play. I can't remember if Monkey Knife Fight gives you a free play as well,
Don't think
but
so.
free money to go around with the deposit bonus match. So even if you don't get a free play, you kind of technically get a free play if you're just getting free money. And you can hop in our Discords too by going to chatdfs.com for the Discord link for our DFS Karma site and bettingkarma.com for our Bet Karma site. So we got some free parts of those Discords. So you can hop into those for free, no reason not to. If you're part of Karma Nation reading the articles every week, no reason not to hop into Discord to ask us any questions because we normally answer them.
And
And
Joey and I now drop a Monkey Knife Fight and a Prize Pick article for
yep, we
free.
just started that off too. So I hit
And
both of my props on Monkey Knife Fight article this week, and I think you had Jamal Williams last week.
Yep, Jamal Williams over hit too. So we went
And we went 3 for 3 on that. So pretty good.
Twitter hit too. Don't forget Twitter free plays. I post Sunday mornings. Those hit too. We had a really good week last week.
We're finally hitting our stride. It's halfway through the season. I can't believe it's already week 9. I feel like the season's flown by. We were waiting all pandemic long for this to start, and now we're already halfway through. But halfway through means we got a lot of data, and we should be able to compete with those algorithms now.
Yeah.
So we're hitting the sweet spot. I'd say like 6 or 7 to week 12 or 13 is normally the sweet spot. So we're fully in that sweet spot, and we've had a good 2 weeks. So yeah, we got another month and a half of really good props to go along before the algorithms
got
are
NBA.
perfect. Then we got NBA on the 22nd of
Yeah.
December, which is actually perfect timing. Because that month and a half, perfect timing. I'm glad we're gonna get Christmas NBA too. I love Christmas NBA. Probably my favorite time of
The
year.
NFL regular season's tough sometimes, especially for teams that really don't have anything to play for.
But
Uh,
we can take advantage of that as well with some good
yeah. Sometimes you
games.
take advantage of it, but sometimes you could see Jacksonville, for example, Robinson smash spot, right? But then all of a sudden, out of blue, he's only playing 55% of the snaps instead of his usual 85 or something like that.
Yep,
So
because they sometimes don't tell us. Like Jerick McKinnon 2 weeks ago, he was supposed to be one of 2 running backs, and coach just
yeah,
decided, nope, I'll just sit him and give him rest like he was supposed to. But you just got to tell us that, because then we could have either gone under on him or not played him in DFS. So sometimes you just got to trust the coaches that they will tell you if something's up, but sometimes they don't.
yeah.
Anyway, let's get into it. I'll have you start off. You normally start off. Let's see. You can start
Always.
off with your game. I forgot what game you were choosing.
Let's go Texans and Jaguars.
Texans, Jaguars. There you go. That's what it
So
was.
this is a rematch of 3 weeks ago, week 5. I think we're week 8 now,
Or
right?
week 9. I just said that we were in week
Yeah, you
9.
just have to pay attention to you more. Week 9,
Yeah.
4 weeks ago, these teams played. Um, this can be a little bit different of a game. Minshew is out. That is huge news. They are starting rookie quarterback Luton, one of the two. I don't know how you pronounce it.
Good enough.
But the total in this game is 50.5, and Texans are a touchdown favorite. And the Texans won the first matchup 30-14. The reason why I say this is going to be a different game, I believe, from Jacksonville, Minshew threw the ball 49 times in the first matchup.
It's a lot of times.
Yeah, they're not going to throw the rookie quarterback that many times. That you do not want to get in a shootout with Houston, because Watson can kill you, especially when you have a top 5. I mean, one of the worst pass defenses in the league. Jacksonville's in the bottom 5 there.
Both of them are pretty bad.
Yeah, but both are terrible. And Texans rush defense is awful too.
They're
Both
just
defenses
bad in general.
bad overall. So what I'm looking at is the Watson fantasy and James Robinson fantasy. So Deshaun Watson's 21.5. I love the over there. Our free projections that Sam does on the DFS Karma website has him at 23.4. This is a smash spot for Watson. He's already these last couple of weeks he's been on fire. So in the first matchup, Watson threw for 359, 3 touchdowns and 2 picks while rushing for 25 yards. He's going to do it again, plain and simple. David Johnson is there. He's doing okay, I guess you could say. But David Johnson is not somebody who's going to get you 200 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns. Just
You know
not
who's
going to
better than David Johnson that the Texans should have had? DeAndre Hopkins.
100%. 100% there.
Still don't get that trade, but
I would not be shocked if David Johnson's not on the team next year, because I don't think he's been playing that well this year. But Texans are going to score 4 to 6 touchdowns in this game. I mean, that's a high total. Jacksonville's defense is awful. Watson's going to probably account for 3 to 4 touchdowns in this game, I would say, at least. So I love the Watson over. The other part of the prop is James Robinson. He's 16.5. For me, that is way too low for a team that's starting a rookie quarterback. And Texans have the second worst rush defense. And I know you're going to look at the last game. They just threw the ball. Why? I don't know. I guess they thought they could beat the Texans in a shootout or something. That's not going to happen again this week. They just can't afford to do that. So I expect them to feed Robinson the ball early and often. He should have success. He also is averaging 4 targets a game. He's had at least 4 targets since week 2. So he's very active in the passing game, including the first week against Texans. He had 5 catches. So right there alone, I think for this game, you can expect Robinson to probably get around 4 or 5 catches again. I just have a hard time believing they're going to have this quarterback throwing, 30-yard route passes to these receivers. I just don't see it, Joey.
Yeah, I expect a lot of drag routes, slant routes, dump offs.
Yeah.
Anything can get going.
So, again, our free projection portal on the website shows Robinson at 18.41. As you can see, both fantasy points on Monkey Knife Fight are pretty low compared to what we're projecting on that. So, I personally love both overs in this game. Both 2 bad defenses, a high total, touchdown Texans favorite, so should stay a little close for most of the game. I don't expect a 16-point blowout again. I mean, it could happen, rookie quarterback, so you never know. But Jaguars should try and run, control the clock, keep Watson off the field if they were smart. First game they were not smart. We'll see what they do this game.
If they were smart, yeah.
If they were smart, for all I know, and knowing our luck, they're just going to come out and pass the ball again 49 times. I don't know why they did that. But so
I mean, the Texans' pass rush isn't that good. They're one of the worst pass rushes, and I don't think they're the worst in QB knockdown. So they could let the quarterback, if they give him time in the pocket, see how he does in the beginning. But if you can't get anything going in the first 1 or 2 drives, no reason not to run the ball and dump offs.
Yeah, all they have is J.J. Watt on that D line. I mean, I watch him each week, and it breaks my heart each week to watch him. But we just don't know what you're going to get from the passing game there. I have no idea. And most teams, when starting a rookie quarterback, usually you rely on the running game while you can. So I like both overs in this game. That's where my kind of head's at. I'm ignoring the pass catchers in this game. I'm ignoring the Jacksonville passing game, especially. He could shock us. I mean, the fantasy totals are very low in this game. I mean, David Johnson's only 15.5. I expect him to get a touchdown, and he honestly will probably go over that number. And Luton's only 14.5, which NFL for quarterback, that's really low. But rookie quarterback, you don't know what you're going to get. So I wouldn't play the under, but I wouldn't feel safe playing the over either there, just because you just don't know what you're going to get. And I don't know if they'll do I know there was a competition between 2 quarterbacks. So if he performs really bad in the first half, could they bitch him? Maybe. I don't know. And I'm not a coach, so I don't know the thought process there. But personally for me, I only feel confident in the Robinson over and the Watson over. So that's kind of where I'm leaning on this game there. The rest I'm just going to fade, I think. So.
Yeah, I pulled up his, because I don't really watch college football enough. I pulled up his college numbers. It doesn't look like he runs at all. So he's more of a pocket guy.
Well, he's a white quarterback.
Yeah, but some guys you can at least, like Justin Herbert and Burrow, seem to run a little bit. But
who was that quarterback we were watching who ran so funky? I think it was Brady or Breeze or somebody like that.
Oh, Brady, Breeze, and Rivers are hilarious to watch run. Matt Ryan too. The Thursday night game. He ran in that touchdown. What's his name? I think Trey Boston or somebody was down, and he did an army crawl. He could have gotten up, waited a second, and then ran over and still probably caught Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
And we had his under on fantasy points, so we assumed he was going to go over there. But even with a rushing touchdown, he still ended up under.
Yeah.
Somehow. We got lucky. But
I'll take it.
Yeah, I guess you pretty much touched on everything in that game. I like your thought process on that. Can't really trust Lutton or whatever, Jake. I don't know how to pronounce his name. But
yeah, it's close. It's one of the 2 ways of pronouncing it.
Yeah, 6th-round pick. No guaranteed if he plays even poorly. If they're down 21-0, he might not even have negative game script because they might just pull him.
I mean, the point of this, obviously, Jacksonville's a terrible team this year. They're going to have a high draft pick. You have some really good quarterbacks going to be entering the draft this year. They want to see what they have in the rookie. I mean, if he shocks them and plays really well, they don't have to draft a quarterback. If he sucks like he probably will, they'll draft a quarterback.
Well,
So
they had a great quarterback last year that they traded away in the offseason, the Super Bowl MVP. Nick
ha,
Foles.
ha, 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 I can't think of yours right now.
Yeah, they
Nope.
traded him away because they thought they had a great rookie, but I guess
No,
not.
no. We're not talking Nick Foles on this podcast. Moving on.
What if I could talk about the Chicago game, and then we have to talk about Nick Foles.
Yeah, no, we're not talking about that game.
Yeah. So we can transition into a shootout. Most likely shootout potential game. I don't see this game not being a shootout. We got Seattle and Buffalo. I got to pull up on my phone because my computer doesn't work well.
Well, Joey, the first question the viewers are going to have for you, is it a Lockett game or is it a DJ game? It's one or the other. The last 2 weeks, it's either Lockett or Metcalf. That's it.
Are transitioning back into a Lockett game.
Ooh, I love Lockett.
What I love about both these receivers is they're not divas and they're not going to complain when one guy goes off and then the other guy gets 2 targets, which I love. That's unselfishness. We know some wide receivers aren't like that, but DK and Lockett know they can just drop 200 yards any game they want. But looks like, based off of past experiences with Tre'Davious White, he will most likely be shadowing DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf is still bigger, stronger, and faster than Tre'Davious White, but Tre'Davious White is one of the best cornerbacks and man corners in the league. And we know Wilson is fine force-feeding Lockett and ignoring DK, or vice versa. So let's see here. Both of them are around 70 receiving yards. Looks like Lockett is at 70.5 and DK is at 73.5, I believe. I'm not going to touch the under, even though I think it's a Lockett game. It should be a Lockett game. I'm not going to touch the under on DK, especially fantasy points, because he can get going to the red zone very easily with his size advantage. But he can break anything for a touchdown. We saw last game some of those touchdown runs were insane. So it's going to be... Oh, it looks like they just changed their rapid fire up to give Diggs the advantage. Looks like DK's up to 77. So, yeah, Diggs. Oh, this makes the rapid fires much easier for us. Thank you, whoever changed it up for us.
Are we locking something in on air?
That 2 for 3 rapid fire is really nice. So I'll talk about the 2 for 3 rapid fire and then post it in Discord afterwards, so you'll still get it before this video. So let's talk about passing yards, receiving yards, and receptions. 2 for 3 rapid fire.
All right, let's do it. I love it.
So we're going to assume it is a Lockett game, which most likely it is a Lockett game. And I will say John Brown, I believe, is back. So that's going to help out Josh Allen. We can talk about the splits with Josh Allen the past 4 weeks versus the first 4 weeks was insane. I was writing it up in my game theory article that should be out soon. Weeks 1 through 4, he averaged 331 passing yards per game, 9.0 yards per attempt, 71 completion rate, 20 rushing yards per game, while putting up 12 touchdowns, 1 interception, and 3 rushing touchdowns. That was the first 4 games. Next 4 games, and then those first 3 games, he had 31.5 fantasy points per game, which is right behind Dak for QB1. Barely missing out by QB1 by 0.3 fantasy points per game. He also averaged 0.78 fantasy points per dropback, which was first. And then he had the last 4 games. A little different. He had some weather issues in that KC game, and John Brown's been out. Allen's week 5 through 8 is averaging 211 passing yards a game, 6.5 yards per attempt, a 62% completion rate, 36 rushing yards, so a little bit of a boost in the rushing yards since I guess he doesn't trust his receivers as much. He only put up 4 touchdowns in those 4 weeks and 4 interceptions, and then just 1 rushing touchdown. That came out to 16.85 fantasy points per game, and only 0.46 fantasy points per dropback, which was ranking 23rd in the league. So clearly, we've seen a dropout the last 4 weeks. And can we trust him? The answer is yes. We have an amazing bounce back spot for him this week against Seattle, which we all know Seattle's not very good at defense. Them and the Falcons, we like to target. I'm not sure. I forgot to check if it was home and away, but it doesn't matter with no crowd noise. It seems like Seattle is missing that 12th man. The defense isn't that much different from last year, but that crowd noise probably helps out a lot. I know they're getting, I think Carlos Dunlap, I think they got.
Yeah, that's who they traded for. He should be playing this game.
Yeah, which should help contain their running game. So it looks like, and I assume the Bills are going to be winning in this game. I think it has the highest total on the slate. Yeah, so I love both. So I'll touch on Russell Wilson too. So Russell Wilson, I'm going to wait to lock in some stuff. I'm not going to lock in that rapid fire. I completely forgot. I was living in the moment for a second. So if Chris Carson does play, I am leaning under and fading Russell Wilson in DFS. Just because the Bills are tough to pass on, and they seem to be funneling towards the run, so like Carolina does. They'll have Tre'Davious White shadowing Metcalf, and then Tyler Lockett should have a good game, over 100 yards receiving, but that 300 yards from Russ and most likely positive game script, it seems like they might stop letting Russ cook, turn off those burners, and let's run the ball a little bit. We saw a couple teams burn the Bills on the ground. I'm sure Seattle can go back to their running ways. They love to run the ball. They're letting Russ throw at one of the highest rates in the league, but I could see the Bills easily trying to take away that passing game and letting them run for their 5-6 yards a carry that the Bills are allowing. But, of course, if Chris Carson is out, they're not going to be able to run the ball that well with DJ Dallas. They're missing their top two guys. Looks like Hyde, you said, was leaning towards out. Carson, again, did not practice. And that was a Thursday. I believe they do not have Friday practice up yet.
Yeah, they don't. So from the beat writer for Seattle, 1 hour ago, he said that Chris Carson's is questionable, a chance to play, but is a long shot to play. So take that however you want to take that.
Yeah, I still like. That makes the rapid fire a little tougher, which I do like the 2 for 3 because of that. Because you don't have to rely. Sometimes those passing yards are tough just because the game script's so important on passing props. You saw last night Nick Mullins did nothing all game. He sucked. We thought he was going to get pulled. And he still ended up over, even though he had like 80 passing yards going into the second half, maybe like 100 going into those final 2 drives. So game script is so important, and especially if a team gets up too much, they're going to run into a prevent defense and let the guys pass. And then the fantasy points you can still go under on. Game script isn't as valuable for that because the touchdowns aren't always there, but the yards, they're going to allow them to throw all over them and then just bend not break. They don't want to allow long passes just because that can get someone in the game much quicker. So they'll let them take 5-6 minutes off the clock and get 80 passing yards instead of risking a 1 minute drive for an 80-yard touchdown or 50-yard touchdown. So I expect the Bills to be down.
Back. Did you mention that?
Who?
Jamal Adams.
Yep, Jamal Adams is back. So they've been blitzing. They blitzed Bobby Wagner a lot because their pass rush was so bad. That's going to help their pass rush tremendously having Adams back. They blitzed Adams a bunch. And that should help with the tight end defense, even though the Bills don't really have a tight end. But that should help their pass rush, which is gonna. Allen's a scrambler, so white quarterback who can run right there. Josh Allen, best running quarterback in the league.
Wonder what his DK Sportsbook prop is for rushing yards.
I did see. I think they had him. I think it was around 20-ish.
That would be a nice over, depending on what the number is.
Yeah. I think Seattle runs man too. I believe. I'm trying to remember. But I love I love scrambling quarterbacks against man defense for rushing props. So that's something you look and do whenever you're looking at rushing props for quarterbacks, because zone defense, obviously, they're still closer to the line of scrimmage. Man, they could all, if you run some vertical routes, or have them all go to one side of the field, you can get some good scrambles off of that. But I do love Josh Allen for fantasy this week too. He might be my cash quarterback. But yeah, they should all go off. But going back to props, we kind of got sidetracked there.
Yes, sorry.
It's all good. But I do love. So we can't really lock in anything right now until we have Chris Carson news. But I'm leaning over on Josh Allen passing yards at 288.5. I love his fantasy prop, which I have not looked at yet, but I assume I looked him on 23.5. That's a good over there as well. He should go off. Russ, if Carson is in, I like the under. If he is out, I love the over. So it all depends on that. And of course, that correlates with a nice rapid fire. The 2 for 2 and 2 for 3 are great. Diggs should have more receptions than DK Metcalf, and Metcalf has the advantage. So Diggs has the 0.5 bonus for receptions, which should be an easy lock. Even if DK does have a decent game, it's going to be because he has like 3 catches for 80 yards and a touchdown. Yeah. I'm not expecting him to force feed anything. They don't force feed either receiver. They just feed the hot hand. They just go with whoever's open. And I'm not expecting DK to be open that often. And then receiving yards, we got Tyler Lockett. It looks like the 2 for 3 and 3 for 3 are different. And the 2 for 2 and 2 for 3 are different. So I do like. I wish the 2 for 3 was the 3 for 3, because you have Lockett receiving yards over Cole Beasley. In the slot, Cole Beasley could be fed 5-6 catches for 40 yards. I'm not expecting him to go over his 50.5 yard prop. But I love Lockett in this game, obviously. Slot's been killing him. So the two games Tre'Davious White has shadowed. That was the first 2 weeks, and it was against the Jets, and it was against the Dolphins. Week 1, he shadowed Bashard Perriman. He had 5 targets, 3 catches for 17 yards, and the slot guy, Jamison Crowder, had 13 targets, 7 catches for 115 yards. And then that next week, they played the Dolphins, week 2. He shadowed Preston Williams. Preston Williams had 5 targets, 1 catch for 26 yards. And those slot guys, Isaiah Ford had 9 targets, 7 catches, 76 yards. And Gesicki, who plays inline and slot, had 11 targets, 8 catches for 130 yards. That was Gesicki's big game that everyone remembers. And expecting him to be a fantasy star, but he's got the talent, but he's not being fed anymore. So both those guys had pretty much ceiling games. Both Ford and Gesicki had ceiling games. Crowder's been doing well, but I think that was his best game of the season. Let's see here. Yeah, that was his best game of the season, it looks like. So both those guys had ceiling games. That slot guy had ceiling games while Tre'Davious White was shadowing the bigger guy, which we don't expect him to be shadowing the bigger guy, but he's been shadowing the bigger guy. You can't predict who they're going to shadow just because of thought, because you assume White would shadow Lockett, who's the smaller route runner compared to the bigger DK Metcalf, but that's how he shadows. So I'm expecting the shadow on DK. So take that as will. Wait for you to get that Carson news. If he's not limited in practice today, he's a long shot, like you said. So usually if no one practices, that Friday practice is a really good indicator to see if someone's playing or not. If he's not practicing at all on Friday, he's not going to play. If he's full practice, he's going to play. If he's limited, it's actually questionable. But as long as he's getting some practice in, then he could play.
Yeah, we might actually get that news on this stream. They're dropping injury news like crazy right now.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of notifications on my phone, so that'd be nice. But we can move into PrizePicks now. Let's transition into that, and that I can pull up on my computer for some reason.
Nice. I love PrizePicks.
PrizePicks is pretty cool. Make sure you click refresh. So we don't get some bad numbers here. So there's some pretty good props out there. DK Metcalf, you can go under on, like I said earlier.
Jerry, let's talk about Christian McCaffrey. Why don't we do that?
20.0.
Yeah, so I have a hard time believing he would play if he's not 100%. Why rush him back? He's your star player.
Against KC, too, which is a really tough opponent.
But we've also heard Mike Davis is still going to have a role, which he deserves. Mike Davis has done an amazing job, so he does deserve. I would take a wait-and-see approach on that 21 number and see how they divvy up the roles. See how much Mike Davis is involved. I do believe McCaffrey plays. I do believe he's 100%. But I'm not so positive that he's going to be, on the field 90 to 100% of the time.
Yeah, I doubt that.
I could see this being a 60-40, 70-30 timeshare, at least right now.
I would say 70-30 is the lower end of the timeshare. It's Christian McCaffrey. You can't.
Yeah, but Mike
maybe
Davis
for the first game.
Good.
But yeah, he's good, but it's Christian McCaffrey. I can't expect him.
I totally agree. Yeah. But the reason why I want to bring up Christian McCaffrey is, remember Joey last year, he was what? 28 every week?
Yeah. He was there. And we just went over on him every time because, you had to. Usually he started at 24 and then he moved up to 28. So we'd always grab that 24, 25 number. He'd go over 30 a couple times too.
Yeah, my advice on CMC is just hold off this week and see how they use him. I don't like the over. I just don't. There's just so much unknown in him, and how that offense is gonna look in general. We have Robbie Anderson on the board. We have DJ Moore on the board. These are all good players, and someone's gonna go over. Maybe even more than one's gonna go over. But I just don't know how this offense is gonna look first game back. So I personally would take a wait and see approach on that.
Yeah, I'm curious if they run 2 running back sets with 3 wide receivers because Ian Thomas isn't really involved that much in the passing game. And they got 3 good wide receivers, so
yeah.
If there's not a timeshare this week, there's not going to be a timeshare the rest of the season. This is the game where if there's a timeshare, there could be a timeshare early on, but if there's no timeshare this week, there's no timeshare moving forward.
Yeah.
So definitely props. Don't force anything.
And there's some good numbers on here. Another couple players we're looking at, Joey, that you can't really make a play on yet, and that's Detroit. The Lions players, Marvin Jones. We have Hawkins. Does Stafford play or not? We won't know until Saturday night, Sunday morning. I like both of those overs if Stafford is active.
Be careful with Minnesota because we saw last week they had 2 or 3 possessions in the first half. They just ran the hell out of the clock. So we could see only 5 or 6 possessions for the Lions, maybe 7 in the garbage time last drive.
And Cook will have a good game.
Cook will. What's Cook at? Cook 22.1. 22.2. You could easily go over that. He's the chalk of the week in DFS.
Yeah, but that's probably 2 touchdown bet there.
That is a 5. That's a 1 touch. 5 catches, 150 all-purpose yards or scrimmage yards, whatever, and then a touchdown. That's my guess is what's going to happen.
Yeah. And then let's look at another guy here that's going to be a trap. We're not going to give out all of our favorite plays. Also, we got to say that for Discord. But there are some traps on this board, I feel like, that we need to address to help you all so you don't just automatically take some overs.
Always traps.
Ezekiel Elliott, 12.5. boy, has the mighty fallen. Remember when he was 20, 25, in that range, 22.5?
That's the
12.
Dak effect right there.
Yeah, that 12.5 is awfully low. He's battling a hamstring injury. So does he play? Does he not play? If he does play, is he limited? Steelers defense is really good. Who knows who quarterback's going to be? I don't like the over, but I don't know if I like the under either because it's such a low number.
Yeah, I mean, even if he gets 5 or 6 dump offs, is he really gonna Are the Cowboys gonna score a touchdown because they didn't last week against the football team?
Yeah,
Team without a name they couldn't even score a touchdown on. It's kind of embarrassing. Go from the highest scoring team in the league to the lowest scoring team in the league. They could be worse than the Jets. I think they are worse than the Jets. I would say
they're getting up there.
Jets have a decent enough defense. The Cowboys have no defense, and now no offense, no offensive line. Blitzburg is going to get to the quarterback. They already get to. They have the highest pressure in the league at 35%, I believe, and then they blitz at the highest rate of the league as well. They're on practice squad offensive linemen. They're on a quarterback who's never played. I don't know if they're going Gilbert or the other guy.
Gilbert's played before. He's just him and Cooper Rush are terrible.
They're not quarterbacks, and Pittsburgh can disguise that defense to destroy. They might not even blitz. They might show blitz a lot and then just drop back into coverage, and they're just gonna toy with the Cowboys. I don't trust them at
all. So I'm putting Zeke in the Christian McCaffrey category. Just fade them. Don't mess with them. Just kind of fade those two guys. Just because I just don't know what to expect. On those two. Another guy, Joey, who gets a Chase Edmonds, running back, Arizona against Miami. No Drake this week. He's 16.5. He's going to be the guy. I don't think they really have any. I mean, they'll have a backup running back, but no one who's really.
They have Kyler Murray.
Yeah, I mean, they have Kyler Murray. I like Chase Edmonds over. Are you in agreement there?
I would be in agreement because he's heavily used in the passing game as well.
Yeah. And if they get the lead, they're going to run it. We saw that a couple weeks ago when Murray made that stupid 60-yard pass to Hopkins. It cost me a lot of money in props.
That was tough.
I would expect Arizona to get a big lead on Miami. Miami's a bad team. Tua looked terrible last week in his first game. He'll obviously look better as he gets more playing time, but Edmonds probably gets 4 or 5 catches. Probably gets close to 100 yards rushing. Maybe gets a touchdown. I love the over on defense this week.
I would say watch out just because Miami's defense is better than it's been. It's probably the best defense they've had in a long time. They're getting pressures. They're not getting a ton of hurries, but they're getting to the quarterback when they get pressures. They're getting a lot of knockdowns. So we could see Murray running a lot.
Or quick dump-offs.
Or quick dump-offs, too. Or we could see Chase Edmonds ending up having a block. I don't think they're a blitzing team. Let's see real quick here. Dolphins are not really a blitzing team. Oh, no, yeah, they are a blitzing team. Sorry. They blitz 40% of the time.
Yeah.
So we could see. I didn't really look into it too much. We could see Chase Edmonds blocking more, or they're going to use a tight end to block. Because if they're blitzing, you're either going to see Murray out of the pocket a lot and a lot of scrambles, or you're going to see Chase Edmonds blocking a lot, which could affect Chase Edmonds. So just be careful, I would say.
Yeah.
Is Drake confirmed out?
Oh, yeah. He's ruled out for a couple weeks.
Okay, yeah. I didn't remember seeing him officially ruled out, but I guess he was, yeah. And the Dolphins are allowing the least amount of touchdowns in the league. They've only allowed 8 this season.
Yeah.
Tied with the Bears for the least amount in the league. So
this Arizona offense is really good.
It's really good. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't dug fully into this game to know. But even if they're blitzing, I don't know how good they are at containing mobile quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So that's something I love about Murray.
Well, and Edmonds is a great pass catching back too.
Edmonds is the best running back on their team.
Yeah.
Drake just had that good season last year to make it seem like he's good. But Edmonds is the RB1 in that team.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Who else do we? Allen Robinson playing Tennessee against that terrible pass defense of Tennessee. Burrow went off against them last week in that win. I like Allen Robinson.
Tennessee is the worst team. They couldn't get pressure on the line for the.
Tell us how you feel about Tennessee.
The line for the Bengals was just maybe the worst line ever assembled as a starting unit. And they couldn't get any pressure on Burrow whatsoever. I think Clowney accounted for most of their pressures, but still was only going to pressure like 10% of the time. So many dropbacks and so little pressures in that game.
So two big injury news we need to know about that game, though. Clowney has not practiced all week. I don't know about today, but he hasn't practiced all week.
He doesn't play this week. I might play Nick Foles in cash. Did I hear that correctly?
Shut up, Joey. So Clowney did not practice Wednesday or Thursday, battling a knee injury. A.J. Brown has not practiced this week either, battling a knee injury also. We don't have Friday injury yet. That hasn't dropped yet as of right now. But that news should drop this afternoon. Two key injury news to keep an eye on, I think, especially Clowney, since he's their best player on defense, I would say.
He's the only player that can get a pressure. And they don't have Desmond King yet, who's one of the best slot corners in the league. I still can't believe we got rid of him for a 6th-round pick, but this was the final year of his contract, so I guess it's fine.
And Allen Robinson gets like all the targets.
He's so good. I wonder what Nick Foles is with a clean. Nick Foles is so bad when he's under pressure. I'm gonna check out his clean pockets because he could be an interesting over if
he's only 16 on PrizePicks.
Let's see, under pressure he is. Let's see if the stats say what I think. Foles is he's awful under pressure. He gets sacked a lot. He gets what's his adjusted completion rate? It's pretty bad. Yeah. He might be able to hit. This might be a Mooney game if he's got time in the pocket. Mooney has so many air yards. It's crazy how many air yards he has. And if you're watching that Rams game, I had a bet that Mooney would have more receiving yards than Woods. And every time, he had like 3 deep balls that would have probably accounted for over 150 receiving yards if he actually connected. And it's just so tilting just watching Nick Foles just miss those deep passes to Mooney. It's bad. So if he's got time in the pocket, he's actually, let's see here. He's got the least amount of time in the pocket. Where is... Jeez, I can't...
And guess who got Mooney Dynasty? This guy.
You got him? Nice. You may have to play him this week.
I don't know who the stars are going to be.
He's fast as hell. It's great. Oh, no.
Nick Foles be a good player. Just watch. Joey, if you want to trade for him, you can.
Nick Foles sucks. Never mind. He's just so bad. He's not even good in a clean pocket. It's just...
Right.
He is the 25th best adjusted completion percentage. He has 5 touchdowns and 4 interceptions in a clean pocket. He's almost in first in interceptions in a clean pocket, but he didn't play the first 2-3 games. He's just bad. Just never play Nick Foles.
So one other thing to drop on you real quick. Just your weekly reminder, everybody. Always make sure you compare PrizePicks and Monkey Knife Fight. One example off the top of my head, Dalvin Cook is 20.5 on Monkey Knife Fight. Play the over there instead of the 22.2 on PrizePicks. That's one thing I like to do. I always like to compare. I usually don't double up on the sites unless there's a huge mess up on both sites. But always look and see who's got the better numbers that you can take advantage on there. So, but we've talked about a good amount of these players today, Joey. I know we're saving some for Discord. for obvious reasons. But
Yeah, there's some good plays. You can
when we talked about Lockett, so that should be an
talk
over.
about Lockett and DK. We talked about Josh Allen and Russell Wilson. We talked about Kyler Murray a little bit. Yeah, there's some good plays. They got to add some defenses, but
Quarterbacks are a little high. So one thing we've noticed about PrizePicks, Joey and I were talking pre-pod, PrizePicks seems to overproject quarterbacks on their board. For example, Monkey Knife Fight Mahomes is 22.5. PrizePicks he's 25.5. So if you want to take the over, you better do it on Monkey Knife Fight.
yeah, this is gonna be a high scoring week though, so watch out for those. Even though they're overprojected, just watch out. There's a lot of good matchups.
Yeah, we got some good unders last week on quarterback. I'm not going to say why because PrizePicks watches these, and I know Monkey Knife Fight does too. But just be cautious. Don't take I won't take the unders so much this week.
I don't mind Tannehill's under against Chicago,
I don't know,
especially
dude,
if
good.
Yeah, but they don't care. It's AJ Brown's. You said didn't practice.
Yeah, hasn't practiced all week, so who knows?
That could be an under game. Just betting under. Even though that run defense is good, you have some really good running back for the Titans. Derrick Henry, I think his name is. He's pretty good.
Who's Derrick Henry?
Some guy tough to tackle.
Yeah, just kidding. But yeah, so we'll drop our official plays in Discord whenever they add defenses, which will probably be tomorrow.
They got Big Phil at 16 against a Baltimore team full of COVID. So
yeah, good point.
Just watch out. They could still actually play. So I haven't actually looked since yesterday. But if these guys test negative for COVID, they're gonna play.
Yeah, Stafford's the big one, guys.
Well, and Ravens defense has about 5 starters that were close contact with Marlon Humphrey. Humphrey is a really good anchor. I don't think Humphrey can play, even if he does. I don't think he can test negative in time. But if they have Patrick Queen, they got Matthew Judon, they got a couple other stars on their defense that might not play. So monitor that. If all those guys are out, I'd say Philip Rivers over is pretty good. But if all those guys are in, I'd lean heavily under on Rivers.
So caution about Rivers, though. So T.Y. Hilton is doubtful.
He doesn't get targeted anyway.
I'm just warning you, Joey.
T.Y. Hilton caught
receiver. All right.
I had a takedown if T.Y. Hilton did anything last week.
Oh,
my
really?
early
Yikes.
Yeah, he's only 16. So T.Y. Hilton doesn't matter if he plays because he doesn't get targets anyway. So that's just some personal bias that I hate T.Y. Hilton for.
Yeah, I just looked at these numbers. Herbert 23, Murray 24.5. Big yikes. Some high numbers. High numbers this week, Joey.
Yeah.
But we've already dropped a couple plays for Sunday in Discord, so if you aren't in Discord yet, get in there. What are you waiting for? You see the screenshots?
Yeah, we're hitting our stride right now. It's exciting.
Mm-hmm. I'm ready. I'm pumped.
I'm so excited for this week. Yeah, let's kill it.
Let's do it. I got nothing else on PrizePicks or Monkey Knife Fight, unless you got something, Joey.
I got nothing else. Just have a good weekend. Enjoy some football. Yeah, win some money.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.
All right, see ya.